Do you remember some months ago, and I made some of these car videos about it, and the issue was the supposed abandoning, or at least the reducing in intensity of support for Ukraine by the West. Do you remember this narrative? Yeah, today, this morning I remember this, and so this is a kind of a critic to a lot of marginal media, not mainstream, who leans more towards Russia, but sometimes I think overinterprets some news and some events in order to make a more interesting story. And today I was remembering this and comparing, for example, with current escalation. So if I had doubts before, because I made some videos where I told you that I wasn't seeing that, or even if I was not in possession of all the facts, that all the trends and even all the news, despite the ones that could indicate less help to Ukraine, I always told you that would never happen, because logically, just by going with logically it was impossible. It didn't make any sense for the Americans simply abandoning the Ukrainian army to its fate. And the latest about this one was, of course, the Americans handing over the burden to Europe and resigning from that role because of intentions of focusing in China. And I don't buy that either, I'm sorry to say. And I do, some of these media outlets, for example, like the Duran, I mean, I think they are really good. They make really good analysis. They dedicate their times to readings, to valuable readings. They talk with knowledgeable people. But like everyone, they are not perfect. And so I think they make mistakes as well. And therefore I think, for example, this narrative of handing over the burden to Europe in order to focus on China, it's not true as well. It is true that the main goal is China. It's not like Russia is not a goal, it is. But is that in order to defeat China, because China is the all-powerful competition, they need to go through Russia. Because if you look at the geopolitics of nowadays, it's not like the role of the Soviet Union, but in many aspects Russia has that role, the role of counterweight to the American hegemony. Of course, I don't mention Europe hegemony because that's long gone. Europe is just puppet vassal of the US, and that's clear. I mean, when all these outlets talk about that, they are right. Europe is just following American footsteps. It gave up its independence, gave up its sovereignty. It has made so that the weakest and the most incompetent and the most corrupt leaders go up to the top. They do the service well to their masters, and then they get well rewarded. And that's following the agenda of the US, of course. While the interests of Europe, where I live, they get left behind, and future does not look bright because of this. But concerning the distribution and the support overseas of the empire, I would say that the US is playing on all fronts. It does seem to me that they are making mistake doing this, but they are supplying weapons both Taiwan and Ukraine and wherever they have interests. They are going around financing their usual military coups or color revolutions. Just the same, they are playing in every field, in every front line. And so I think when you start these narratives of look at this, because of this piece of news you can read between the lines that support is ending to Ukraine, they see that the project is failing, so they are abandoning it. It might come to that. It might come to that, but we are not there yet. I suspect that this war, if it does not end the world as we know it, the end of it will bring much pain to the most of us, especially to the working class. No side is gonna quit, and I think, of course, now you have Zelensky saying that maybe peace negotiations should be conducted. Sometimes you have these episodes of people saying maybe we should negotiate, maybe we should call Russia to our peace summits, maybe, but the facts tell the opposite. The facts tell more weapons, more escalation, more attacks deep inside Russia. So, and the facts, I think, here speak louder than this fake intentions for peace negotiations. That the only thing that they seem is that they want to try and gain more time again, like they did in the past. Of course, Russia is not going to fall for that. Lavrov has stated, Lavrov or Peskov, sorry, I can't remember which Russian official has stated that even if they conduct peaceful negotiations, which Russia has been always open to, they will not stop the hostilities at the front. They know better already. And the war is gonna continue to escalate in all fronts. Of course, the Europeans are called to carry the burden, but the US is not getting out. It's not like, oh, I leave you with this. Some propaganda people like this Jake Bro, he does believe that, Jake Bro, I just made a video about it. You can check it out, a reaction video about it, an interview with him. This guy believes that Europe alone can take on Russia, and he does very simple mathematics to affirm this. It's because Europe has more population than Russia altogether. Therefore, they can beat Russia. I really don't follow this logic. I mean, of course, the whole of NATO against Russia I think the result is obvious. It's nuclear annihilation. Before I was going to say victory of NATO, no, it's nuclear annihilation. Russia wouldn't allow that. So the escalation keeps going on, and the clear objective, which was not recognized by most analysts months prior to this moment where we are now, it is the provocation just to try and make Russia give reasons to escalate, for the West to escalate even more, to galvanize its people, because its people are not on board. And I've talked about this before, and a lot of people have talked about this, is that the leaders that live around in function of Ukraine, like this Annalena Baerbock with the Green Party and Macron, they are all penalized. I mean, the public is not buying, or it's buying less and less the bullshit that their Western countries are giving them concerning Russia. So, and even if they buy some of the propaganda and they believe that Putin is this or that, even if they do have that thought, they will never be on board with more hostilities. So, yeah. The provocations are gonna continue, and Russia and China both being target for provocation, because China, remember that they are also target of provocation, commercial provocations. The so-called God of the free market, the sacred free market, no state should interfere, all levies and all taxes should be lifted for companies to trade at will. Well, the ones that made that the hegemon idea are now twisting it and putting taxes on imports of Russian EVs, for example. They are intervening in the market, something which they well, they still, it's like that in theory they still defend that, but it's only when it's convenient. So you know the nature, you can see now the nature of this governments, of these so-called democracies. It's the true oligarchs. They have been accusing Russia all along. The most dangerous ones are in the West. They are the ones who are pulling all the strings and lobbying for their interests. And it's always against the common person, the common man. Always. Always against the worker. Always against the most vulnerable. Always. So yeah. As you see, I often lean towards Russia as well, but I don't like to. I lean because I truly believe it, and I truly try to see both sides. And I'm not fast in getting on board with narratives such as it is now, it is the moment, Russia is defeating them all, and Superman on the battlefield, and the West is showing its weakness, and it's nothing like that. The fight is more fierce than ever, and escalation keeps escalating. That's it. Those are the facts. So I hope I see you on the next one. How do you like this summer day in Portugal? Very nice. Hey, if you like the videos, just comment and press the like button. It costs nothing. And you help me out a little bit. I mean, promoting the channel. Not that I make any money out of it. Bye bye.